The film opens with Mallory Hayes, an ambitious artist who is 8 months pregnant and just divorced. She is oblivious to reports of a mystery disease in Eastern Europe that has spread to the United States. Blindfolded youngsters are urged to paddle through a river for many days to reach a lonely woodland home. Mallory brings them outdoors with their pet birds and a boat. 5 years later, Mallory's sister Jessica informs her that everyone is stockpiling supplies as the thing nears. She switches on the television and is astonished to learn of a mystery virus that has devastated portions of Eastern Europe. The infection takes possession of their brains, transforming them into monsters. Mallory dismisses it because she believes it is too far from the United States. Mallory visits Dr. Laffin, a doctor, to assess her readiness for parenthood. She agrees but witnesses a woman slamming her head on a glass pane, revealing an outbreak in the U.S. Mallory and Jessica rush to leave, but the pandemic sets in, causing car crashes, falls, and other shocking events. Despite the chaos, they seem to reach home. Mallory tries to follow other people to safety but slips and falls to the ground. Seeing her struggle, a lady leaves her house and attempts to aid Mallory over her husband's objections. Unfortunately, her decision proves catastrophic, as the evil thing inhabits her. The woman stares at the invisible thing for a bit before walking inside a flaming automobile. Soon it bursts, killing her instantly. Following the frightening incident, a guy named Tom helps Mallory up and rushes her into the house. There are numerous individuals inside the house, including the owner, Greg, his friend Douglas, and Machine Gun Kelly. In the next scenario, everyone gathers in the main chamber to discuss the supernatural monster that has been causing devastation over the earth. Grocery store employee Charlie believes a mysterious object is the end of the world, while Mallory, grieving over her sister's premature death, is comforted by Tom. Amidst the chaos, everyone gathers and boards up windows and doors to prevent anyone from looking out. Mallory and her children have been on a boat for the last 6 hours, and everyone is aware that the object is untouchable and gazes at it will kill oneself. Mallory and other survivors dwell in a home, using blankets to remove blindfolds. They use a walkie-talkie to search for nearby individuals, but all they hear is an unseen presence whispering their names. Olympia shows up one day and asks to be brought inside, transporting them back in time. Douglas first refuses to admit Olympia, but the others persuade him to let her in. Olympia is revealed to be pregnant. Greg advises reviewing the CCTV cameras to look into the issue. The others are doubtful, but Greg's proposal is approved. After seeing the clip, he freezes and seems possessed. Following a loud explosion, the others see Greg lying in his pool of blood. This makes them realize that the entity can possess them even via the computer, so they destroy it immediately. In the present, it's been 14 hours since the family has been rowing in the river. Suddenly, Mallory hears a man's voice, saying it's okay to take off her blindfolds. Realizing that the person might be infected, she orders the children to stay low and keep their blindfolds on. Soon, the speaker appears to be getting closer and indicates that he has food. He also claims to have seen the creature, which he calls friendly. Just then, he leaps for the boat, but Mallory is ready. She hits him with a machete and kills him. The following scene takes us back to the past when the gang ran out of food. Mallory, Tom, and a few others decide to go to a local department store where Charlie used to work because they don't believe assistance will arrive soon. They use GPS to direct them and spray black paint on the car windows. The GPS begins beeping loudly in the middle of their journey, indicating that the item is nearby. Tom, on the other hand, manages to get them inside the store and out of harm's way. A group of people rush to stockpile supplies, including pet birds, as the food supply is running low. A man emerges from the freezer, screaming about being trapped inside for days. The group, including Tom and the others, feel the possessed individuals in the area and realize the man is too strong to contain. Charlie saves the others, realizing they would all perish if he escaped. Some believe it's an act of God, while others believe it's the end of the world. Everyone realizes the object is untouchable and that gazing at it will kill oneself. Mallory, still grieving over her sister's death, is comforted by Tom. Mallory and Douglas hear noises from the garage, but Machine Gun Kelly and his girlfriend escape. The family spends 24 hours on a river, colliding with an old truck due to exhaustion. A boy falls into the river with his family's supplies, and Mallory rescues him and heads to the woods to find supplies, finding an abandoned hospital and collecting food and clothes. As Mallory rushes out of the building, the thing can be heard shouting her name. Meanwhile, at the beach, the young girl feels nervous because it has been an hour since her mother departed. so she ignores Mallory's orders and goes into the woods to look for her. Unfortunately, the thing begins speaking to her, proposing that she remove her blindfold to view the green forest. The plot focuses on a group of pals who were stuck in a mystery home. Olympia agrees to go, but Mallory appears and snatches her away. They return to the residence, and Olympia lets a suspicious man named Gary in. Gary claims to know of other individuals outside who do not wear blindfolds, and they believe him. However, Cheryl's mother subdues Douglas, an elderly man, and locks him in the garage. The group's activities demonstrate the hazards of blind folks. Olympia then sincerely apologizes for being a burden and creating all of the difficulties, but Mallory tells her that she did nothing wrong. As they draw closer, the two expecting women promise to care for their children if one of them dies. Mallory even gave Olympia a Hello Kitty doll as a baby shower gift. The fact that the little child is holding the same toy now shows that she is Olympia's daughter. As they come closer to the rapids, Mallory wraps herself and the children with a blanket and warns them that this will be the most dangerous portion of the journey. She goes on to add that one of them will have to remove their blindfolds to see. The two naive youngsters want to volunteer, but Mallory finds herself in a tough situation. After considerable thinking, Mallory decides that no one will look, so they will just face the rapids and let God decide their fate since she is unwilling to give up on any of them. Previously, Mallory and Olympia went into labor at the same time. Tom and Cheryl assist upstairs, while Gary, a suspicious man, displays his collection of monster drawings and confesses his plan to infect others. He puts Mallory's birds in the refrigerator to avoid alerting others. Gary pulls newspapers from the window, and Olympia and Mallory give birth to girls and boys, respectively. However, Gary enters the room and raises the window blinds, leaving Mallory and Olympia uninjured. The story emphasizes the perils of admitting possessed persons into a room. A woman gets possessed and tries to commit suicide, but she saves Mallory's daughter. Cheryl, an elderly woman, dies after being forced to open her eyes. Douglas shoots Gary with his rifle, and they tussle for a while. Douglas is also terminated. Tom kills Douglas before he can kill more people. Mallory, and the children remain, living in a secluded house in the woods for 5 years. The 4 children are left to live in solitude. The birds are still alive and doing nicely. The children have adapted to their new surroundings and have been spared the afflictions of the metropolis. They still do not have names, however. Despite Tom's criticism, Mallory believes it is not a priority at this time. When they investigate after hearing a ruckus outside one day, they find a group of infected people looking for the uninfected in cars. The couple realizes that residing in this home is perilous. That night, when they were sleeping, Mallory's walkie-talkie unexpectedly turned on. A man named Rick begins speaking from the other side. He claims to be in a safe facility with plenty of supplies and food. However, getting there won't be simple. Rick adds that they will have to go down the river for several hours while navigating deadly rapids. Before hanging up, he clarifies 2 things. The pair, Tom and Mallory, explain the dangers of a river for children, and the birds are critical to locating the complex. Tom wants to go to the complex, but Mallory is hesitant. The next day, sick individuals arrive, and Tom pushes Mallory to bring the children with him. Tom kills some of the infected but gets wounded himself. To finish the problem, Tom transforms into a monster and kills them one by one. Mallory and the children return home, where they tell them about their experience. After 42 hours, they arrive at the dangerous rapids. Mallory's boat capsizes, and they tumble out, but they make it to land. The creature emerges in an unseen form, aiming to trick them into removing their blindfolds. They ignore him, instead listening to the birds. They arrive at a big facility and meet Rick, who says that the compound was once a school for the blind, which kept infected individuals out. Dr. Laffin, who congratulates Mallory on producing such adorable offspring, asks for her name, and the film concludes with Mallory opening the birdcage and releasing the birds.